So today I want to have a look at the puff stitch, and I have two different versions of the puff stitch here. One is done with trebles and one is done with double crochet. Puff stitch, not to be confused with the bobble stitch or the popcorn stitch. They are different stitches and I will be making videos on those soon. So this is the treble. You can see it's got quite a long bobble on it. In this version, at the top of the treble bobble, we actually do a chain one and we skip a stitch, so it really makes the bobble actually stand out, as you can see. As you can see there. On this one, which is the double crochet one, we don't skip a stitch and we don't do a chain one at the top. We go straight into the next stitch with our double crochet, and that's what closes it off. But when you put it, you can see there's slightly less gapping than you see on this one here. So two ways of doing the puff stitch, one with trebles and one with doubles. Hello, my name's Karen Stangram and welcome to Conquer Crochet, the channel for tips, tricks and techniques for conquering your crochet. Everything I talk about in today's video will be linked in the descriptions below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss a single stitch. So if you're keen to get going with this video, give me a thumbs up and let's do this. So for both of these stitches I'm going to be demonstrating with a double knit yarn and also with a 4mm crochet hook. So we start off with our slip knot. You can do this in whichever way you prefer, and our foundation chain needs to be in multiples of 2, so an even number. So I'm going to just do 12 to start with, just to show you in this sample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you want to follow the sample with me, you can just do 12. If you want to do more and you want to actually start a project that's longer, pause the video now and you can make your foundation chain. So I have my 12. We're now going to do a double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we don't count the one on the hook. So 1, 2, we're going to do a double crochet in there. And we're going to double crochet all the way down our row. This is double crochet in UK terminology. In US terminology, that would be single crochet. So we make our double crochet stitches all the way down our row. And if you have a longer foundation row, now's the time to pause the video and I will see you at the end of your row. So I've come to the end of my row and I'm going to be doing the trebles bobble. So I'm going to chain 3 for my trebles and I'm going to turn. This chain 3 on this row is going to count as a treble, so I'm not going to crochet into that first space because when it counts we don't go into that one. We're going to make our first treble bobble into the next space. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook through both parts of this previous stitch, yarn over and pull back through. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and we don't do the last yarn over and pull through 2 until the end. So that is 1. We're going to make 4. You can do 5, it all depends really on what your pattern calls for and what you prefer. If you want a slightly puffier stitch you can do 5, if you want a less puffy stitch you can do 4. So we've got 1, so yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So you should have now 5 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook. So the 4 from the trebles and 1 from the treble of the previous stitch. This is the trickier bit. Make sure you're not too tight when you're pulling your yarn through. You want to have a nice little bit of a gap so that your hook can slide through. Going to yarn over and make sure that you twist your hook so that it's pointing downwards, and you pull through all of those loops. Then we're going to chain 1 just to close off that puff. And we're working on the reverse side or the wrong side or the back side of our work here. So all of our puffs there are going to come out on this side, which would be the right side. So for this one we're going to skip the next stitch, and our chain 1 that we did at the top carries us over that stitch, and we're going to do our puff again. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So that's 2 trebles. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's 3 trebles. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have our 5 loops on our hook, 4 for the trebles we've made, 1 for the previous stitch. Yarn over, twist our hook all the way down and pull through all of our loops. Chain 1. And we can push our bobbles through there, or our puffs rather, through there. So the next one, so we skip the next double crochet, we work into the one after that. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 2 stitches. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 3. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We now have 4. Yarn over and pull through all 5 loops and chain 1. And we do this all the way down our row. So continue working down your row with your puff stitches, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So I'm just finishing my last puff stitch of the row there, and I've got 1 stitch left to do, and I'm going to make a treble in that stitch to match up with the 3 chain which acts as a treble at the end. Sorry, and that just gives us a very nice edge to our work. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. For the next row we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. So as I said, we do our puffs on the reverse so that they push through on the right side, but we need to make sure that we can get back to the reverse. So between each row of puffs we need to do a row of double crochets. So we chained 1 and we go into the next stitch with a double crochet, into the top of that chain, into the next stitch, into the top of the chain, and we just work double crochets all the way along. So pause the video now whilst you work your double crochets along your row. And at the end of the row then we just want to go into the top of that 3 chain from the previous row. And there we have our first set of the pattern. You can push the puffs through a little bit more if you want to, just to make sure they're really there. So we do a chain 3 to start our row, and because that chain 3 counts as a double crochet, as a treble, we don't go into that first stitch here. We go into the next one with our puff stitch pattern, and we did 4 in this one. You can do 5 if you want to, it will just make it bigger and spread out more. Have a play around with the number that you prefer. I think when it's a taller stitch, I don't like them to be quite so fat. Okay, so that's how to do the treble puff stitch. So let's have a look at how we're going to do the puff stitch with the double crochet. It's a slightly different pattern. So for the double crochet bobble stitch, I'm using a double knit yarn again, and I'm using my 4mm crochet hook again. So again, we're going to make a slip knot in whichever way you prefer. And as with the treble puff, we're going to crochet in multiples of 2, or it needs to be an even number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you want to follow along with the sample, I'm doing mine with 12. You can do yours in however many crochet chains that you want. If you want more than 12, pause the video now and I'll see you back here in a second. So we're going to again make a row of double crochets in the second chain from the hook, so not the one on the hook, so 1, 2. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. So a basic double crochet or single crochet if you're in US terminology, row all the way down our foundation chain. So again, if you have more than 12 in your chain, you may want to pause the video whilst you complete the double crochet foundation row. So come it to my last stitch. Let's tighten up my tail a bit. Now because we're working in double crochets, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. Our chain 1 does not count as a double crochet, so we are going to go into our first stitch here and we're going to go in with a double crochet. So for this stitch, we're going into the next stitch and we're going to yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and we're going to pull up just a little bit higher than we would normally, just so that we've got some gap for when we need to pull our yarn all the way back through. So that's 1. We're going to do 5 of these. So yarn over, insert into the same stitch, yarn over, pull back through, that's 2. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull back through, that's 3. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull back through, that's 4, and the last one, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull back through, that's 5. So we have all of our puff stitches plus the top of our last double treble that we made on our hook. We yarn over and we make sure that our hook is pointing downwards, otherwise you will catch all the stitches on the way through. Pull your yarn through. Now with the treble we did a chain 1. With this one we're just going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. Or at least I'm going to try to. There we go. And that's our first puff. So we do the same again in the next stitch. So we're not skipping this time, so yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Yarn over and pull through all of our stitches, double crochet in the next stitch. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. That's 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Yarn over, pull through all of those stitches and then double crochet in the next stitch. So we do another one, so yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. So that's 1, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, insert, remember going into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, that's 4, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, that's 5, yarn over, pull through all of those stitches, and then double crochet in the next stitch. So we have space for one more here, so we're going to do that one more time on this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, yarn over, pull through all of those, and then we're going to do a double crochet in that last stitch, which gives us a nice neat edging to our work. So that's our puff stitch row, and you can see that's very different from the row of the trebles. Yes, we've got another puff in here, but you actually get a smaller, rounder puff, if you like. I'll bring that a bit closer to the camera so you can see. So that's a much rounder puff than you get with the trebles. And it really is just a case of playing around, if you're not following a pattern, playing around and seeing which one you prefer. It may be that a different colour yarn will dictate which puff you use. It may be if you're making if you're making a case or a product or something, you may not want to have gaps in it. You may want to have something that's tighter worked. If you're working on something for a baby, you may not want something that they can get their fingers caught in, so you might go for something a little bit neater like this one. Okay, so as we did with this stitch here with the treble puff, we need to chain 1 and turn our work. And our puff stitches are always made when we're working on the reverse side or the wrong side. So we need to now travel back to the other side so that we can flip it and do another row. And again, we're just going to do a row of trebles. So I've chained 1 and turned, and I'm going to just do double crochets all the way along our stitch, our row, sorry. I'm not sure if you can hear it, my next door neighbour's just come home and her dogs are very excited about it. They're slightly distracting me at the moment. So we're going to double crochet all the way down our row. So we go into that stitch at the top of the puff and into the one that we did next. So our next row is going to be a puff row, so we're going to chain 1 and turn. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we're going to do a double crochet in our first stitch, and then you would do a puff stitch in the next stitch, double crochet in the next, puff in the next, double crochet in the next, all the way along, and you do a double crochet in your final stitch. And that's how to do the double crochet puff stitch. I really hope you found today's tutorial useful. If there are any information that you need to find out about this video, have a look in the descriptions below where I post all the links to any freebies and other videos I think you might find useful. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, to give me a thumbs up below. Don't forget also to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you've enjoyed it and you'd like to see more of my tutorial videos. There are 2 other videos on screen to help you on your crochet journey, and I will see you over there. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, and happy hooking!